All right, guys, I just got done talking to head coach of the Glasgow Scotties, Patrick Barnett. Fun interview. It was awesome to hear about some of the traditions. If you don't know what spaghetti red is, stay tuned to check that out. Um, Gave me a little bit of insight on his view of the Class B. Talked a little bit about his team and his coaches and stuff like that. Fun little interview. Hope you guys enjoy. All right, Montana High School football here. I got Coach Patrick Barnett here from Glasgow. Just going to talk a little bit of Scotties football. So thanks for joining us today, Coach. Tell us a little bit about your football history and your path to becoming the head coach.
So I was born and raised in Billings, Montana, and I played for Billings West. I graduated in 2012. I played offensive tackle and defensive tackle there at West High. Paul Claybo, that legendary coach, he kind of is like one of the motivators in my life, to play football. Like as growing up watching him play, or coach, and then having those guys before me. Like I was probably about 12 years old when I realized like football was my passion. West High won a state championship in '05, and I thought, that's what I wanted to do. So Claybo gave me a lot of like great coaching philosophies and stuff that I just kind of do today here in Glasgow. With the winning tradition Billings West had. And so that ended up leading me to end up going to Northern, and I played for Mark Sampson for a few years, and then ended up being for Jake Eldridge at Northern. And I ended up taking a coaching job or a teaching job here in Glasgow, which ended up leading into after my first year as an assistant, that I ended up being the head coach after that first initial year here in Glasgow.
Awesome, awesome. Okay. So tell us a little bit about your staff, some of the guys that behind the scenes that don't usually get a ton of love. Who do you have there helping
Uh,
you?
I got Sam Tedrow. He's out of Kalispell. He played for Montana Western for a few years. He's my offensive coordinator. He does a great job being an offensive coordinator. If I was offensive coordinator, those kids would run ISO and dive and outside zone. That's all we'd ever run. We'd never pass the ball. So he gets a little variety out there for those kids. He does a great job. He's been with me ever since I started here. We convinced him. He was working for FWP, and he loves coaching so much. We convinced him to become a teacher, and he changed careers to actually continue to do his coaching. So I'm
Awesome.
really happy and proud of him. Another guy who's been with me the whole time. His name's Dylan Hughes. He's a Glasgow guy. He ended up going to Rocky, playing football there. Um, he's been working with quarterbacks and our DBs for quite a few years now. He does a great job with the kids. He's kind of my tech guy. That's why I got a craziness going on here. He takes care of that business for me. He does the video and all that stuff. And he's there. And then I got Ed Sugg. He's a little legend here. When I say little, he's a big legend here, in his size wise. And he's just a great guy. He's been coaching offense and defensive line. And then I got another Scotty on the team. His name's Jason Tebow. He played at Dickinson State. And he's been helping the last 2 years, and he's done a great job coaching. He's working with those younger kids, getting them ready to go. He's helping build the program and keeping us rolling.
Okay, cool, cool. So tell me a little bit about the team. Like how many seniors you got, how many returning starters, what does that look like?
Right now we have the roster's 49 kids. For Class B, that's we're pretty fortunate to have 49 guys on the roster. Like I was talking to Jake Eldridge over in Havern. He's running about 50 kids in the Class A program. He's like, I wish we had 60. I kind of wish we had 62. But 50 in Class B, that's great numbers. You've got lots of guys can play JV. You're not taking kids that are playing varsity and like counting quarters that week. You just let them play varsity and they get the JV reps too. Like they're not taking those away from any kids. So that's pretty cool. For senior wise, we got 11 seniors. I think probably five of them are returners. Most of them, or not most of them, but a few of them are all conference players. Kai Gamas, our starting quarterback, he was an all-state guy last year. We expect some big things coming out of him this year. He'll be playing my outside backer, which is, I mean, he's kind of that hybrid between a defensive back and an outside backer. So I'm pretty excited for him. I got a stud running back coming back. He's a senior, Wyatt Sugg. He turned it on last year. He had to work his way through the program. We had him playing quarterback when he was a freshman. We went into a playoff game and we needed a center, so we made him play center. Then his junior year, he turned it on at running back for us. So he's kind of played all the positions and just works himself into that starting role. He was an all-conference guy this year. We expect big things out of him. I have a returning nose guard and offensive or my center, Andrew Linder. He's a great leader on our team. The kids like following him. They he's just a great all around dude right now, and we expect big things out of him. You have Grady Nielsen. He's going to be playing our H back position and our defensive end, and he is looking like a college football player right now. You know, he's
Awesome.
get big. He's about 6'3", 6'4", so about 220, 225. He's fast. He's looking good. He's lean right now. We're excited for what he can do this year. We have Will Kirkland. He's going to be playing defensive end, offensive tackle. That's another senior. We have our safety is Tavin Boland, and he's going to be a crucial part to the success on defense. And hopefully this year he can turn on offense for us. So that's some of our senior highlights right there. You know, there's a few more though that they're working themselves up and see what they can do by the end of the season there.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah. It
Um,
sounds like you guys got quite the cabinet full there. So that's awesome.
oh yeah, hopefully
So yeah. All right. So last year you guys went 7-4, is that correct? Or
7-3,
7-3. So
7-3.
tell me a little bit about your guys' off season. What'd you guys do this year to get prepared?
Um, so we end up having a new position at the high school. We had the athletic director becomes the weight room teacher too. And last year was Dalton Reed out of Miles City, and he was here for a year. And he was in charge of the weight room in the summer. And what he did was implement what we were doing during the school year, and then rolled that over into the summer. And this was the first time we've ever done that. Usually it's the weight room teacher, and then they would go off to summer, and then I would take over the weight room. And our problem was we'd be changing philosophies with the kids in the weight room. Well, as Dalton stayed in there, we had the best numbers we've ever had in the weight room this past summer. Those kids were showing up, getting their strength, getting stronger, faster. That's what we're trying to build with them. And they just had a great summer in the weight room. I was proud of them for that. And even as a coach, I got to take a step back from it and let those kids just do their work, and I didn't have to always be there, which was great. So there's taking accountability on themselves. And then we met Haver for a one-day mixer in early June. We met with them. Got some guys some playing time. You know, ran some 7-on-7, some one-on-one, some 11-on-11 inside run, and some pup pass under pressure, and this is some regular team stuff. And then that was some good reps there for us. And then in the past, we normally end up going to Dickinson States for the Blue Hawk camp. That just didn't work out with dates this year, and we ended up going to Minot State's football camp, team camp, and that was a great camp. We got a lot out of it. You know, got tons of reps. It was their first year they ever ran the team camp, and they didn't have a lot of teams there, which is it was too bad. And hopefully they can build upon that. But with that, it came with a lot of extra reps that our guys wouldn't get. So I was laughing at those guys. Said, "You guys probably got like 3 games in 3 days of football." So I mean, that was good reps for those guys. You know.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, it sounds like you guys had a good off season. Tell us a little bit about Glasgow. What makes it unique? Any special traditions or anything you'd like to share?
It's always funny because I was from growing up in Billings. We didn't have all the traditions that everyone has. You know, you had your homecoming and your dance and all that stuff like they have here. When I interviewed for the job in Glasgow, I said, "Where is Glasgow?" I was living in Havre at the time. They're like, "It's 2 hours east of there, man." I'm like, all right. I had to look up on a map because I didn't believe them, and I looked up. All right, it's 2 hours, 20 minutes away. So I come over here, and my wife and I are driving around town, and you go around the businesses, and you have Scotty Pride on the side of businesses. You have that plaid, you know, hanging up. You see the Glasgow dog everywhere around town. You know, the street that's coming up to the high school is called Scotty Pride Drive. So you see it everywhere. There's businesses that have their names in it, and like when homecoming happens here, it's a big deal, and it's just full of traditions. There's so many traditions I can't even tell you all the traditions, but it's just a magical place being a Glasgow Scotty. We were talking about the parade and this is the build up of the season. It's great being in this community.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah. I know from running the page, the majority of the last 15 years, that Glasgow is definitely one of those communities that takes a lot of pride in it. Um, So, game of the week, hosting Red Lodge this week. Any pregame rituals you guys do, such as game day breakfast, Thursday night dinners, or anything like that?
We uh we'll do a Thursday night dinner. We have we call it they call it spaghetti red.
Okay.
I think it's an old Butte thing. It was started by Greg Liebelt, I believe. He was the head coach before me, and we have this wonderful woman named Ruth Ann Hutchison, and she's been running team dinner for ever since I've been here, probably for 15, 20 years now or forever. I have no idea. She's been there forever. Anyway, spaghetti red is spaghetti noodles and chili,
Okay.
and
Wow.
it's not good. and the kids love it. And I'm happy that they love it. And it's a tradition, and we have it every year. So
Awesome,
that's what
awesome.
we have on the first game. And then after that, Ruth Ann mixes it up, and we have some different meals, and
Okay.
that's kind of a big deal. So yeah, we're excited to get that thing rolling. That's every Thursday night.
Cool. That's awesome. That's thanks for sharing that. Tell us something about you, not football related, that we might find interesting.
Find interesting about me. Oh man. Um, I love the outdoors. I love the one of the reasons I moved to Glasgow wasn't just for the teaching job though. That when I fill out the paperwork for the job or the questionnaire it says what's your hobbies, and I'm an outdoorsman. I like hunting and fishing. Well, I didn't know anything about. I knew about Fort Peck Lake, but I didn't know much about it. And the principal thought it'd be a good idea to load me up in the truck and drive me to the lake. And I wasn't really about to take the job. I was just kind of like, I'll just go do an interview over here. He drove me out there, and I looked at the lake and got done with the interview, got in the car on the way back to Havre. I said, I'm taking that job. I'm going to Havre or going to
Awesome.
Glasgow because of the lake.
Okay, okay. So Fort Peck sold you, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, thanks for your time, Coach. I'll let you get back to your day. Hopefully, talk to you down the road and kind of hear about how things are going. So,
All right. Thanks, Steve.
yeah.